My name is on every contract for that wedding. Every single one. The flowers, the food, the white chairs lined up in the grass, the lights strung through the trees, all of it signed in my own hand at my own kitchen table. So when my daughter looked at me in her bridal suite and said the words that ended something between us, I already knew a thing she did not. She had no idea that the woman she was quietly throwing out the side door still held the keys to the entire day. It was a Saturday, the 7th of June, 10 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. I was 63 years old, standing in a carpeted hallway in a pale dress I'd had altered twice so it wouldn't pull at the shoulders, holding a small velvet box with my own mother's ring inside it. And my daughter had just told me to leave. Real loneliness doesn't begin when someone dies. It begins when the people still alive look right at you and decide you're in the way. Let me tell you how I got there and who showed up when no one else would. Welcome to Where Grace Remains, where quiet women tell the stories the world stopped listening to. Before we begin, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there right now. I read every single one. And if you've ever loved someone who stopped showing up for you, stay with me. You're going to want to hear how this one ends. So let me take you back to the beginning. Her name is Caroline, my only child. I had her at 31, after years of doctors telling me, gently, that I should prepare myself for the possibility it might never happen. And then it did. I remember the nurse setting her in my arms, this small, warm weight, and I remember making a promise in my own head, the kind you don't say out loud because it's too big for words. I would always come, whatever it was, whatever hour, whatever it cost me, I would be the one who came. And I was. I need you to understand that before I tell you the rest, because the rest only makes sense if you know what came before it. I came to every recital, even the ones where she stood frozen in the back row and forgot every word, and I clapped just as hard anyway. I came to the emergency room at 2 in the morning when she was 19, and a boy had broken her heart so badly she couldn't catch her breath. I sat on the cold tile of that waiting room and held her hand until the sun came up. Walter and I co-signed her student loans. We paid her first year of rent. We drove 4 hours each way to move her into an apartment she walked away from 11 months later, and we never said a word about it. We never kept a ledger. You don't when it's your child. You give, and you tell yourself the thank you is somewhere in the living of their life, in the laugh you hear on the phone, in the fact that she's safe and warm and out there in the world because of something you built. That was enough for me. For 31 years, that was enough. When she got engaged to Daniel, we were genuinely happy for her. He came from what Caroline called a certain kind of family, the country club kind, the summer house on the coast kind. She'd say his mother's name with a little reverence in her voice, and I'd smile and think, well, if it makes her happy. And when the wedding talk began, the numbers began right alongside it, the way they do. Walter and I sat at our kitchen table one night with a yellow legal pad and a calculator and 2 cups of coffee that went cold while we talked. And we made a decision. We'd give her the day she dreamed of. We took it from the retirement account, the one we'd spent 40 years feeding, $20 and $50 at a time, the one that was supposed to carry us through whatever years we had left. $38,000 for the venue alone. I signed that contract myself, at that same table, with a pen that kept skipping, and I remember thinking how grown up it felt, how proud Walter looked across from me. We were doing it. We were giving our girl the world. I should have noticed the way it happened after that. The slow, polite way we got pushed to the very edge of the thing we were paying for. I wasn't invited to the dress fitting. It'll be cramped, Mom. I'll send pictures. The pictures never came. The venue was selected and then announced to us, not discussed. Announced in a forwarded email with one line at the top, "We picked this one, hope that's okay." The florist called me directly for final approval on centerpieces I had never laid eyes on. and I approved them, and I paid the deposit because Caroline had said, "Please don't make this stressful for me." And I had spent my entire life trying very hard never to be the thing that made anything harder for anyone. That's the part I keep returning to late at night, how quietly it all happened. Nobody ever raised a voice. Nobody ever slammed a door. You can be erased one courteous sentence at a time and never hear a single sound. That's the loneliness. No one warns you about not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that arrives dressed as politeness. The morning of the wedding, I curled my hair myself at the bathroom mirror, my hands not quite steady. Walter wore the same navy tie he'd worn to her college graduation because he said it had been lucky once and might be lucky again. We drove out to the gardens with the windows cracked, the early summer air coming in warm and green, and at a red light, Walter reached over without looking and squeezed my hand the way he's done at red lights for 45 years. And I thought I actually let myself think it today she'll see. Today she'll feel how much she's loved. A young woman with a clipboard met us at the garden gate and told us Caroline wanted to see us in the bridal suite before the ceremony began. And oh, my heart lifted at that. I thought, she wants a moment with us. A mother-daughter moment, the kind you fold up and keep forever. I followed that young woman through the manicured paths, past the rows of white chairs we had chosen, past the floral arch heavy with white roses, past the string quartet tuning their instruments under a tree, and every single thing my eyes landed on, I had paid for. I didn't think of it that way then. I just thought how beautiful it all was, how beautiful and how much it looked like love. The young woman knocked on a door with a little hand-lettered sign that said bride, and the door opened, and there she was, my girl, in a gown I had never seen, not the one we'd chosen together months before in that quiet bridal shop, the simple, elegant one she'd cried happy tears in. This one was heavier, beaded all down the bodice, expensive in a way that made my stomach tighten before my mind even understood why. For one full second, pride flooded through me so hard my eyes stung. My daughter. On her wedding day, and then I saw her face, and the pride had nowhere left to go. There was nothing in it. No warmth, no nerves, no joy at the sight of us. Just a flat, managing expression. The look you give a small problem you'd like handled before you get back to the important things. "Mom," she said, "what are you doing back here?" I held the velvet box out toward her. "It's your grandmother's ring," I said, "the one you used to spin around on your finger when you were little, standing on a chair in front of the mirror. I thought, maybe today you'd want." She didn't take it. She stepped out into the hallway instead and pulled the door half closed behind her, lowering her voice the way you do when you don't want the room behind you to hear. "There's been a change of plans," she said. "Mom, you and Dad aren't coming to the ceremony or the reception. Daniel's family has certain expectations about how today should look, and honestly, it's just easier this way. Please don't make a scene about it. The coordinator can take you out the side entrance so you don't disturb the guests coming in." Easier. That was the word she chose. Out of every word in the language, she chose easier. Easier without us. Walter's voice came out low and rough, the way it does when he's holding something back. "We paid for this, Caroline. We're your parents." "And I'm grateful," she said. But there was no gratitude anywhere inside the word. It was just a sound she made. "Today isn't about what you paid for, Dad." Behind her, the bridal suite door cracked open, and a young woman in a blue dress, one of the bridesmaids, leaned out and whispered something, and the two of them laughed. A small, private, shared little laugh, the kind people build a wall out of without even meaning to. And down at the far end of the hallway, Daniel's mother passed by in cream silk, and she looked straight at me. She knew exactly who I was. She'd seen my face in a dozen photographs, and she turned away as though I were a stranger who had wandered in from the parking lot. I stood there with that little box held in both hands. And here is the strange thing, the thing I still can't fully explain. I didn't cry. Not then. Something inside me had gone very still and very clear, the way the whole world goes quiet and still in the minutes before the weather finally turns. We walked out, past the arch we'd paid for, past the white chairs we'd chosen together 6 months earlier, back when she still let me choose things alongside her, past the catering van idling in the lot, its back doors open, trays of food we'd ordered waiting in the cool dark inside. Heads up, both of us. I will not stand here and tell you it didn't burn, because it burned all the way down. But we did not run, and we did not beg, and we did not make the scene she was so afraid of. Let me ask you something. While it's just the two of us here, has someone you raised ever made you feel like an inconvenience at the exact moment you'd given them everything you had? I'm not asking to be dramatic. I'm asking because I think more of you know this feeling than would ever say it out loud. If it's you, write it down below. I'll be reading. I always am. We got into the car, and Walter didn't start the engine. He just sat there with both hands on the wheel, staring out the windshield at nothing at all. She threw us out, I said. My voice didn't even shake. That surprised me. And then I looked down at the velvet box in my lap, my mother's ring inside it, 3 generations of women who'd worn it on their wedding days. And I looked back up through the windshield at that beautiful floral arch in the distance. And the stillness that had been sitting so quiet in my chest finally spoke up and said the thing it had come to say. My name was on every contract. I want to be very careful how I tell you this next part because I don't ever want you to hear it wrong. What rose up in me was not rage. There was no scream anywhere in me. For more than 40 years, I had been the peacemaker, the one who smoothed every rough edge, who forgave before the apology even came, who put herself dead last so the rest of the room could stay comfortable. I was good at it. I had made it my entire life's work, that swallowing down, that keeping of the peace. I just was not going to do it one more time. Drive somewhere with internet, I said. Walter looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded, started the car, and pulled out of that lot. He drove a few miles down the road to a little coffee shop with a hand-painted free Wi-Fi sign taped in the window. We went inside, sat at a wobbling table near the back, and ordered 2 coffees we didn't drink. And then, one at a time, calmly, we made the calls.
Hello?
I called the caterer first. Yes, I understand the event is already underway. I'm the signatory on the contract, and I'm canceling the service, effective immediately. I called the florist, the decorator, the string quartet, the lighting company. Yes, I'm aware of the timing. Yes, thank you for your help. No yelling, no threats, not one cruel word. Just a quiet woman in a coffee shop telling the truth into a telephone, one call at a time. I didn't do it to ruin her day. I need you to believe that because it is the truth, and the truth matters here. I did it because she had decided, fully and on purpose, that we were nothing to that day. Invisible, unwelcome, an embarrassment to be quietly removed through a side door before the real guests arrived. And here is what I finally understood, sitting at that wobbling table with cold coffee in front of me. You cannot build a thing for someone, pour your whole heart and your retirement and your mother's ring into it, and then be told you do not exist inside it. So I simply stopped pretending I did. If we weren't part of the day, then neither was anything we'd given it. Within the hour, the phone began to buzz against the tabletop. The wedding planner first. Mrs. Hale, I'm so sorry to bother you, but the vendors are saying the services have been canceled. There must be some confusion. Then Caroline. What is going on? Why is everything shutting down? Not why did you leave? Not Mom, I'm sorry. just panic. Just the sound of a young woman discovering for the first time in her life that there was a consequence she could not charm or wait her way out of. I let it ring. And as I sat there listening to it buzz itself out against the wood, I felt something settle into me that I had not felt in a very, very long time. It wasn't triumph. Nothing so loud as that. It was just the quiet of a door closing gently. All the way a door closes when you have finally decided you are not going to walk back through it. That night, a text came through. Did you cancel everything? That is so cruel. How could you ruin the most important day of my life? I read it 3 times. The most important day of her life. As though ours, the 2 people who had made that day possible with our own savings and our own hands, had never once been part of any day at all. I typed back 1 sentence. You told us we weren't invited, so we left. And then I set the phone face down on the kitchen table and I walked out to the back porch and I sat down in the dark. After a while, Walter came and lowered himself into the chair beside me, his knees cracking the way they do now. And he took my hand, and we sat there together not saying anything while the crickets started up in the garden. We didn't need words. After 45 years, the quiet says plenty. Here is something I've learned the hard way at 63. When you're young, betrayal makes you scream. When you're older, it makes you quiet. And don't ever let anyone tell you that quiet is weakness. The quiet is a woman finally deciding, after a lifetime of carrying everything, exactly what she will and will not carry from here on. The days after were strange ones. The phone kept ringing, and I kept letting it. And then my younger sister, Susan, turned up on the porch one afternoon, shifting from foot to foot, and I knew before she opened her mouth that Caroline had gotten to her. Susan had seen the posts online, the photographs, the captions about unshakable love and the perfect day. Not one single word anywhere about the parents who had simply vanished from the story. Caroline had told everyone we'd thrown some kind of tantrum, that we couldn't bear not being the center of attention, that we'd shut the whole wedding down out of spite. So I sat my sister down at the kitchen table and I told her what had actually happened. The bridal suite, the half-closed door, the side entrance. You're not invited. Please, don't make a scene. And I watched the version Caroline had handed her fall right off her face, and the real one take its place. She didn't tell me that part, Susan whispered. No, I said. I don't imagine she did. Susan was quiet for a long moment. And then she reached across the table and took both my hands in hers, and she said a thing I will keep with me for the rest of my days. I have watched you bend yourself in half for that girl since the day she was born. You are not the one who should be ashamed of anything. That is the thing about the people who truly stay. They don't ask you to prove your side of it. They don't make you build a case. They just see you, plainly and completely, and they tell you what they see. Susan hadn't even been at that wedding. She owed me no defense at all. She gave me one anyway, freely, and it was worth more than every dollar I had ever signed away. It was Susan who drove me, the following week, to sit down with a lawyer, a calm woman with clear eyes and a way of listening that made me feel, for the first time in months, like I wasn't crazy. I told her the facts, just the facts, and when I was done, she set down her pen and said, "You don't have to justify a single bit of this to me, Mrs. Hale. Protecting yourself isn't cruelty. It's just sense. It's what careful people do." And that is where the second thing my daughter didn't know finally came out into the light, our will. It's still named Caroline, as the sole heir to everything Walter and I had spent 40 years building, brick by careful brick. The house, the little cabin up at the lake where she'd learned to swim off the end of the dock, where her handprints were still pressed into a square of concrete by the back step. The savings, what was left of them, all of it, written years ago by 2 people who genuinely believed that love meant handing over everything you had and asking nothing whatsoever in return. I sat in that office and I thought hard about what love had actually cost me over the years. And I understood, finally, at 63, the difference between two words I had spent my whole life treating as if they were the same word. Love and access are not the same thing. You can love a person with the entirety of your heart and still decide that they no longer get to reach into your life and take whatever they please, whenever they please, simply because they share your blood. In all my years, I had never once pulled those two things apart from each other. That afternoon, in a quiet office with my sister sitting beside me, I finally did. We didn't do it out of spite. I want that to be clear. We restructured everything into a trust, with conditions, with daylight, with a clear set of terms, so that nothing could ever again be taken from us quietly while we stood there telling ourselves it was love. It wasn't a punishment. It was a lock on a door that should have had a lock on it for 30 years. If you have ever had to choose your own dignity over someone you raised with your own two hands, say it out loud. Even just here, even just to me in this quiet little corner of the internet. There is no shame anywhere in it, and I promise you, you are not alone in this room tonight. The reconciliation invitation arrived on the porch a few weeks later. Thick cream cardstock, hand-delivered, no postage. Dinner at the most expensive restaurant in the city. A private dining room. Please come. We need to talk. Signed in her careful handwriting, Caroline. I held it for a long while at the kitchen table, turning it over in my hands. And then I walked it over to a folder I'd started keeping in the hall drawer, a quiet folder where I put all the things I had finally made up my mind to let go of. I slid it in there alongside the others because I knew exactly what it was. It was not an apology. It was a performance, staged in a room expensive enough to make me feel small for saying no to it. A reconciliation you can put on a credit card isn't a reconciliation, it's a transaction. And I was done being a line item in my daughter's budget. I didn't go. For the first time in my whole life, I let her wait the way she had let me wait, at the dress fitting, at the venue, at every centerpiece I never got to see. It was months before the rest of the truth came out, the way these things always do sideways, through a chance conversation. An old acquaintance up at the lake, a few careful words, a piece of news that simply did not fit the polished story we'd been sold for 2 years. Daniel had lost his job at the bank long before the wedding ever happened. His family's old money was a thin coat of fresh paint over a house that had been refinanced one too many times. The grand beaded gown, the rush, the desperate need to keep us paying and quiet and far, far away from the important guests, all of it had been a curtain. And Walter and I had been holding that curtain up the whole time with our retirement account, without ever once being told what we were really paying for. When the curtain finally fell, it fell on Caroline too. Daniel left her, took the car, emptied the joint account down to nothing, and walked out, leaving her standing alone in the wreckage of a life that, it turned out, had never been real in the first place. And one gray afternoon, months after that wedding, my doorbell rang. And when I opened the door, there she was. Not the woman from the bridal suite. Not the cool managing stranger who had sent us out the side door. The makeup was gone, the polish was gone. Her hair was unwashed and her eyes were red-rimmed and lost, and she looked, for the first time in years, exactly like the little girl who used to come to me with scraped knees, certain I could fix anything in the world. "Mom," she said, and her voice broke clean in half on that one small word. I would love to tell you I felt nothing standing there. I'd have been within my rights to feel nothing. But that is not how a mother's heart works, and I'm not going to stand here and pretend mine is harder than it is. I felt the old pull rise up immediately, the instinct to fix it, to rescue her, to open the checkbook and make the whole thing disappear the way I always had. I didn't. I let her in. I put the kettle on. I let her sit at my kitchen table in the same chair she'd done her homework in as a girl, and I let her cry it all the way out. And when she finally lifted her head and asked the question she'd come to ask Mom, can things just go back to the way they were? I told her the truth in the calmest voice I have ever used in my life. No, I said, they can't go back, but we can build something new, you and I, if you're willing to do the work of it. I'll help you stand up, Caroline. I will not carry you anymore. There's a difference, and you're going to learn it. I reached across the table and laid my hand over hers, and I meant every word with everything left in me. And I forgive you. I do. I forgave you a while ago, truth be told. Then I held her gaze, so there'd be no mistaking it. But forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. One of them I'm giving you right now, today, for free. The other one you'll earn back slowly by who you decide to be from this day forward. Not by what you say at this table, by what you do after you leave it. She wept then, but it was a different kind of weeping than the panic in that text message months before. This was something closer to relief. The particular relief of a person who has finally been told the plain truth by someone who loves them far too much to keep lying to them. I didn't win anything that day. There was never anything to win. I want you to understand that, because the people who chase winning in their own families always end up the loneliest. My daughter and I are still finding our slow way back toward each other, on honest ground now, with boundaries I should have built 30 years before I finally did. Some days it's tender between us. Some days it's just quiet. She has a small job now, and a small apartment, and a long road ahead of her, and she's walking it on her own 2 feet for the first time in her life. But it's real, and it is the first real thing the two of us have had in a very long time. And the people who showed up for me, in the worst of it, my sister Susan, who never once asked me to prove my side, a lawyer who looked me in the eye and told me I was allowed to protect myself, an old friend at the lake who handed me one true sentence at exactly the right moment. They reminded me of something I had somehow let myself forget over all those years of giving. That you can be abandoned in a room absolutely full of people, and you can be carried home by the ones who were standing just outside the door the whole time, waiting for you to finally walk out of it. Because family isn't who you're born to. Family is who stays. If this story found a quiet place in your heart tonight, the kindest thing you can do is subscribe and stay a while. There's another story already waiting for you whenever you're ready for it. And tell me, before you go, would you have made the same choice I made in that little coffee shop? Have you ever felt invisible to the people you love the most in this world? Write it down below. I'll be reading the way I always do. Until the next one, take good care of yourself. You still matter. You always did.